Hey, Michigan Maniacs. This is the Michigan Maniac Podcast, and I am your host, Adam Brewer. Before we get into the show, guys, let's go ahead and do the housekeeping, of course. I'm on all social media. If you guys have noticed, my YouTube, the last video I had really took off. It's close to like 2,000 views, and it's nothing but 100% hate from Georgia fans. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. Some of the comments are the best. Like, you can tell how angry they were because of how long the comments were. Oh, it was the best. It's like food to my soul when I see people do do that stuff because they actually think I care. It is funny though. I do. I just envision you getting all angry, typing away on your phone or your laptop, thinking I'm going to give a shit what you say. Uh, so good. Anyways, I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. The whole thing, Facebook, the blah blah. You know where to find me, guys. If you're going to leave me a review, you guys have, and it's been awesome. Thank you so much. Or even if you're just going to rate the show, rate or review at Apple Podcasts or iTunes. I think it's the same thing. If you rate and review anywhere else, I won't see the review outside of Spotify. So Spotify is the other one. Just leave whatever stars you think I am worth. To you guys, anyways. I mean, I know I'm 5 stars, baby. So if you want to leave me 5 stars, that's great. If not, it is what it is. But if you leave it anywhere else outside of iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, I won't be able to see it. I won't even know it is. Go somewhere else and just type away. Type your little hearts out and, scream into the void. So, I don't know how long this one's going to go, this episode, but there's a few things I want to talk about before I kind of shut down for the year. I mean, if anything, big news comes up, obviously I'll do a podcast. But one, since we're already speaking about YouTube and all this, there's actually one comment that I read that kind of annoys me in a way, and it was something about Harbaugh is the one that gets them ready for the games, and how it's not cool that you're blaming the kids for the result out on the field, or something to that effect, because they're kids apparently. Well, here's the thing that I take issue with. One, Harbaugh can coach the best game in the world, but it takes the kids out on the field to go ahead and make those play work. If they can, if the talent on the other side isn't vastly superior to them. So I don't know why I can't criticize Vincent Gray for playing like Vincent Gray of 2020. I don't know why you can't criticize that Corum fumbled the ball. It wasn't Harbaugh that did those things. It wasn't Harbaugh that stopped running a route and then gave the excuse that the sun or the lights were in his eyes, like Dalen Baldwin did. That's Dalen Baldwin who did that. These aren't children. This isn't a 12-year-old like little league football game. With NIL now in the stratosphere of college football, you can take that kid argument and shove it right up you know where. They are now getting paid to play a game that they play very well, and I love watching that game. Next year, Vincent Gray is going to go into the NFL draft. He's going to get drafted, hopefully. I hope for his sake he does. Do you think whatever fan base that he goes to next year, he'll still be a young boy in your eyes? Next year, you think a professional fan base is going to give two shits if he can't if he can cover or not, or if he reverts back to 2020? Do you think they're going to want him out on the field? Do you think they're not going to say awful shit about him? And even what I said wasn't even awful. I just said he played like shit. You should be able to say that somebody plays like crap when they play like crap. I praise these guys 95% of the season. And on a game that they play like crap, I'm going to say they play like crap. I think that's what you guys have grown to love and like kind of respect or expect from me. So miss me with that whole their kids baloney. My son's in the Navy. Russia goes into the Ukraine, guess what? No one's going to say, hey, take it easy on my son. He's only 20. He's going to go in there and I'm going to have to hope and pray that he doesn't get blown the f up. But that's the avenue my son chose. That's the avenue my son chose. That's the results of it. So the results of these kids wanting to be pro athletes is that people they don't know or people who can't play the sport criticize them. That's just how it goes. It's part of the game. If you want to get paid the ridiculous amount of money that they're going to get paid, then they need to accept criticism and you need to quit bitching about it. So we move on to Harbaugh. Um, I am kind of torn with this Harbaugh thing, right? I didn't want to say anything until he either stayed or he left, but it's taking forever, and I would assume it's because Michigan's just literally taking their time. I think it's there's some positives in the flow of Harbaugh coming back, especially with Schlitzel showing his Schlitzel and then like nailing one of his assistants. I think that helped. So this way we can get in a president that's more football friendly. I think that's a positive. I think if Michigan will just allow this team or the players on this team to use their logo, obviously you want them to go through kind of a process to make sure whatever they're attaching their name to and the logo to isn't like a brothel or something. Um, but outside of that, I don't see what the problem would be. Now, if Michigan, I see needs to make up its mind on what kind of school it's going to be because LSU already knows what kind of school it's going to be. They let their team, their players, use their logo for anything. Doesn't matter. Ohio State knows exactly what kind of school it is. They're using their players, even with a small process, to use their logo. Michigan needs to make up its mind. Are we going to want to be a football team, like a football school that has a chance at national recognition, national titles, Big Ten titles, things like that? Or do we want to be Northwestern? If we just want to be Northwestern with an amazing academic program, I mean, law schools, one of the best in the nation, the medical school, one of the best in the nation, the business school, one of the best in the nation. We just want to be that. We want to be one of the top, top universities in the country. Then we need to do that, and then we'll just forget about football. But this middle of the road bullshit is only slowing down and hurting the football team from being reaching that next level. If we want to continue to get guys like Edwards and McCarthy and things like that, 4 to 5 star real elite players, NIL is we have to up our game. If we don't, then we'll just be Northwestern. And I just wish the school would come out and say what they want to be. And I think that's why Harbaugh is either going to stay or going to go. I mean, because I think he sees the future of this. I mean, I think we all do. If you just put thought into it for about 5 minutes, you can see where this is all heading. Um, so I don't blame him if he feels like he's leaving because of that. Like he feels like he can only take this team to a certain level because Michigan won't allow him to get to the next one. Okay, I get it, and I get that he'd want to leave and get the best deal possible in the NFL. But also it kind of irritates me because he finally has an elite quarterback. Finally. The best quarterback he's ever had at Michigan is in camp right now and had a pretty good freshman year. And he's going to leave. Like, and then JJ McCarthy is going to be forced to go through like a transition year, at least one transition year with a new coach, a new offensive scheme, more than likely, because who knows what coaching staff changes will happen. And then we're just going to have to hope that he sticks around. So that's the part that really annoys the hell out of me. But I can't blame him. I can't blame him for saying, you know what, we need to take this step to get to the elite level. And if Michigan won't let him do it, I don't blame him for wanting to leave. I just don't. I don't want to see him leave. I want to see Michigan open their eyes and be like, yeah, we are a football school. And we're going to do everything we can to make that football school the most dominant football school in college football, along with keeping up standards for law, everything else, every other academic thing we do. That'd be great. I think you could do both. But I think you also have to say football or sports is a different animal. When basketball and football bring in what 100% between the two, 100% of all the revenue, or I don't know. I had the numbers a long time ago on what football and basketball bring in, and it's something like 97% of all the money that the athletic department brings in is from football and basketball. So if you want top-notch coaches, if you want all the merchandise alone that Michigan sells is astronomical. If you want to do all that, you have to say these players bring in money. These players need to be treated differently. The transfer portal needs to be treated differently. Like Shea Patterson had to lose what, half of his credits or something like that just so he could come to Michigan. That's wrong. That's dumb. He's not going there. And I even hate to use this as an example. Cardell Jones, that moron from Ohio State, had it right. They don't go to play school, they go to play football. And some of these players who are just there to play football have decent enough grades to go to Michigan. We just need to make it happen. And still allow the other football players who want to be more than that to be more than that. We should be bringing in as many people as possible to make the football team the best it possibly can be, and also help the coaching staff be the best they can be, which in turn only makes Michigan even better overall. It's so annoying. So, anyways, I get it. I don't want Harbaugh to leave, and I think it's crazy that he would leave because I think he's finally getting to where he had dreamt Michigan to be. You know, I think, like he said, it's the beginning. He sees it, but like I said, if Michigan's all only if Michigan's always going to kneecap him, I don't blame him for leaving. By the way, if he does leave, I don't see him going anywhere other than the Raiders because they have everything he'll want in a football team. Running back, really good running back, pretty good wide receiving core, great tight end, a decent enough quarterback. Hell, it's starting to sound like Michigan already. You know what I mean? Decent defense. This is Michigan just NFL style, basically. So I would, and plus he has such a great relationship with the owner. I just don't see it going any other way. I guess you could say the Bears only because they drafted him. Um, but yeah, I I don't know about the Bears. I don't know, but whatever. So I'm going to go over just the draft, the guys who left for the draft, and just give some opinion on them. Not like I'm not going to break it down because I don't even know where they're going to go. But the three that really actually kind of surprised me, and I think the reason why this is because I believe they see the writing on the wall and they had no other choice. Because they either use the results they had from this season and parlay that into uh, some type of draft status, or go in next season and hope they can keep their position. And that's why I think these three players definitely left. Just my opinion. I don't know if that's true or not, but it makes sense to me. Dalen Baldwin. First of all, shocker that he would even leave. I mean, he was invisible except for two passes last season. Um, I just think he sees that Ronnie Bell's coming back healthy. You're watching the maturation of Wilson and Henne, and then the probably going to be a breakout performance next year of Andrew Anthony. And with all those names in there, uh, where do you fit if you're Dalen Baldwin, right? You just don't. So why not take your chances in the NFL? I'm sure Deion Sanders will probably give him a good word. I'm sure Harbaugh would, and with two major NFL uh, players, ex-players, and head coaches giving, maybe he works that into a sixth round, seventh round, draft pick thing. Maybe. I mean, I hope he gets. If this is their dream, I hope they get it. Um, so he was major surprise to me, but after thinking about it, maybe it's not as shocking. Same thing with Christopher Hinton. I think you could say he'd be a lock to start next year. I don't see why that would, but using my theory that I've kind of created, I can see why maybe he would think that next season might not be a great season for him because Chris Jenkins is coming up. Then you have Rashawn Benny, which I heard made leaps and bounds of improvement over the bowl week or the bowl month preparation. So with those two guys coming up, and it wasn't like Christopher Hinton was devastating offensive tackles or guards this season. So maybe he had a pretty good year. I mean, he was way better than he was last year, or 2020, which Jesus, who couldn't be, but maybe he's like, hey, this is my best shot. Because if I've got to share time with Chris Jenkins, which I'm very high on, and Rashawn Benny's coming up, and then you've got Rooks, it's a pretty solid room. And then Mozzie Smith is still sticking around. Maybe the production he has this year is the best that he can do. So, like I said, with the NFL dad, Harbaugh on his side, maybe he gets a fifth round, a seventh round draft pick, maybe. Gray, same, falls into the same deal. Will Turner. Um, then you have Mick. I always want to say McQuarters for some reason, but McBurrow's coming up. So maybe, and then Jermon Green, because DJ Turner's got that other side locked down. So you have three or four kids coming in that are already here competing for your time. Maybe he said, this is the best I can do. Or maybe he was just sick of being at Michigan. Who knows? But Gray was surprising as well. But everyone else, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, Hutchinson, Ojabo. You're looking at top 15 for Ojabo, probably first pick, second pick overall for Hutchinson. I mean, you never know, but and then Daxton Hill, amazing. He's going to be great in the NFL. Ross, if you're looking for a traditional type running back, he's not going to be the guy that goes side to side for you. Maybe he does get picked fourth round, fifth round. I mean, he's a solid player. Uh, never know. Uh, Haskins, I love that guy. I can't. I think he is going to have. I think he may hit first. To be quite honest with you, I think if he gets drafted, if he gets to the right team and can be that second tier running back that they have, the guy that they throw in, I can imagine him making some noise in his second year, maybe even third year. I would. I have high hopes for Haskins. I just love the way he runs. And then Stuber. Stuber and Vistardis. I, Vistardis is probably 90 years old, but one of the smartest guys you're probably ever going to meet, and good center overall. So why not? I could see him. I could see him later rounds, sure. And then Stuber, absolutely. He's become one of the better offensive linemen, better offensive tackles we've had at Michigan. You know, I don't ever remember watching a game where you're like, oh, Stuber's out there, fuck. Like I did with Ryan Hayes. That Ryan Hayes game against Indiana, that Ryan Hayes game against Penn State, just woof. But so I can see all that stuff. I don't. It's not surprising that we have another 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 guys going for the NFL. I might have missed one or two more that have. Oh, Hawkins. I can see Hawkins. Great, pretty good safety. I mean, I can see him playing fast. Well, I mean, not super fast, but fast for a safety. He's smart. I'd love to see what he could do in the NFL. So I think it's a pretty good overall draft stat team. Um, I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know. The one thing that I'm going to close on this, but the next episode I want to do my way too early rising stars, most impactful, and then breakout stars, along with going over the schedule, wins and losses. Um, just sneak preview. It all boils down to 4 games, in my opinion, and that's where our leadership will be tested. But 4 games, right? Boom. And if we can win those, how we do in those 4 games, I think will dictate how far we go to even the playoffs again and to the national title or not. But the one I actually will miss in who's leaving is Andre Seldon. I thought that guy. I still have high hopes. I'm going to follow his career, no matter where he goes. I don't know if he's picked a place yet, but him and Dan Villari. I'm going to pay attention just because I like the kid. Uh, being a fellow Italian boy, I like the fact that he was there. So I'm going to watch out for Dan, see how he does with Syracuse, which I thought he was going to pick Rutgers just because I think that might be closer to where his hometown is than Syracuse, but I could be wrong. Um, but Yeah, so Andre Sullivan, I thought next year was going to be a dog. I thought for sure he was going to have a much bigger impact. So I know he left some cryptic tweet about your boss holding you back type thing. Whatever that means, I hope wherever he goes, he just shines because I love his attitude. I love that he is a hard worker and he can't wait to shut people down. So I'm a fan. So we'll see what happens. But that's about it, guys. Had to shake off some of the rust here, try to get over that that loss hangover you get. But I'll be back, especially when Harbaugh finally decides what he's doing. I'll do that. Also, throughout the season, whatever noise is being made on the football side of it, I'll be there. I might cover basketball, but I'll be honest with you. With my job and everything I'm doing right now, I have a specific dollar amount and what I want to make this season or make this year because I want to pour back into the podcast even more. So with that, I may use this off season just to work like crazy to save up, because maybe I want to do a few live events over in Ann Arbor at some of the bars or whatever. I want to start doing some stuff to really grow the podcast, and I can't necessarily do it unless I have a certain amount of capital, and then I got to work, and so I'll drop in every once in a while, but I'd rather prefer to concentrate on football because after all, we really are a football school. I love Jawan Howard. I love the basketball team. I just right now want to concentrate on football. So we will see what happens. I mean, unless basketball really starts blowing up or something, it's on like you can't not pay attention to it. So thank you guys for always listening, watching. But like and subscribe on YouTube, please. If you want to check out some of the comments on that last one, it's the reaction episode. It's my immediate reaction episode. So I curse and go crazy, basically. Just read some of the comments. They're hilarious because of how serious they are about this. And I mean, misspellings upon misspellings. It is so good because if you want to paint the picture of a dumb Southern SEC football fan, well, you get it in these comments. I'll tell you that. Woo! It's pretty impressive. Oh my god, I love it. When I'm when I'm like down or wanting to relive something, I go back and I read one or two of those comments because they are so funny. Uh, okay, we get over that. But I might actually start doing a few different a few different types of podcasts when it comes to my reaction. I might just do the immediate reaction episode where you're going to get me angry and just saying all the, you know, angry guy stuff. And then I may just the next day give the corporate version of it. So, and we'll see which ones the fans like the best. So we'll see what happens there. I'm looking into Patreon and stuff, or reliving, or like starting up the Patreon again. We'll see what happens. There's a whole bunch of stuff I want to do coming up next season. So, guys, it's been awesome. Always is. So take care. Uh, and always remember, it is great to be a Michigan Wolverine. And always and forever, go blue.